Are you ready for fall photos? Donna Guest here, the Lazy Scrapbooker and Creative Memories Advisor. This month, Debbie Martin, Nicole So and I take on last year's Golden Harvest collection. It just might have the prettiest embellishments ever. We've divided them up along with one pack of designer paper, and we're going to help you create 6 pages. Let's get started. Here are the papers I got from the Golden Harvest collection. I've got this dark brown, this orange leafy pattern, this lighter brown, and this green with the leaf pattern. And I've got 7 of the embellishments, mostly leaves, and 1 pine cone. And optional, totally optional, I'm going to bring in a coordinating cardstock, the Autumn Hay Shimmer. That was a coordinating cardstock with Golden Harvest. I'm going to try a little bit of it out. You do not have to use this if you don't have it on hand. This is the cardstock. It's a shimmer, and this is the thickest cardstock. I think it's like 80 pounds. Every time you pick it up, you feel like you have 2 sheets in your hand. But I'm going to try just a little bit of that. Let's take a look at the tools I'm going to use, and it looks like a lot. It's really not that much. Of course, we're going to use the 12-inch trimmer, and I'm going to feature the custom cutting system on these pages. I'm, of course, going to use the 13 by 13 mat, and I do recommend the 13 by 13 because it's going to help us center and measure. And I have 2 of them, and they are taped together on the other side, so they always stay together. Then I'm going to feature the newest jumbo template, and that's the jumbo square frame. I love this one. It's got the rounded square on the outside and the wavy frame on the inside. I'm going to use a circle and an oval. That's optional if you want to trim up a picture that way. And then, of course, our 3 blades. And the other tools, of course, we always have our tape runners. I've got regular, repositionable. I've got the micro tip scissors in case I need them. And, of course, the multi-tool. And we really are going to need this one for these pages. It took me a few minutes to determine which pages I wanted to use as the background and which I wanted to use as the frame. So I'm going to go with my initial choice and try not to second guess myself. So I'm going to use these beautiful colors as the background pages. Let's set those aside. And I'm going to use these browns as the frame. Now, the idea is to have the frame going all the way around because this makes a beautiful 1-page frame. But we want a double page because I know so many people love their double page spreads. Now, I have all different papers, so my frame, while it's going to be continuous, the color changes a bit. So just keep that in mind. If you really, really want your frame to be the same color all the way around, maybe grab a couple of pieces of coordinating cardstock like a brown and do it with those. You might want to do that, and then you'll have this paper as extra or for photo mats, but just a little hint there. All right, let's get started. The 13 by 13 mat is so helpful because we're going to center our paper right here, and you can see how it goes all the way around, and you've got your rulers on all sides. Then we're going to center this jumbo square frame on that paper. So I'm kind of looking, I've got about a 1/2 inch all the way around, and you can see that. If you really wanted to get specific, you could use a ruler and make sure, but I'm pretty confident that what I'm doing here looks right. Then I'm going to take the red blade and we're going to cut all the way around these 3 sides, but we're not going to cut here. So let me show you how I'm going to do this. Okay, I will tell you, this is one of the more complicated cutting system templates to use. While these are super easy, of course, because it's such a smooth edge, this has all these little waves. It's not hard, but you just have to be super careful to make sure you don't slip. So the best thing you can do is lay your arm across this thing and keep it steady. I'm going to start right here. It's just an easy place to start. And when you're using the custom cutting system, make sure that these 2 prongs are in the track. We're going to use this inside track. If you accidentally just put 1 prong in the track, you're going to slide, or drag is a better word, drag this blade the wrong way, and it's going to tear your paper, or worse, your photo. I don't know what's worse, photo or paper. Okay, so I'm going to make sure, and if I have to put my head down on the table, I'll do it. Make sure that I've got my 2 prongs in there, and I do. And then usually I like to go fast, but I'm going to go slow and steady with this one to make sure I get around all these little waves here. And I'm holding it steady. Let's see if I can go without speeding this video up like I usually do, so you can see really how slow you have to go. So now I'm going to come back over here where I was, making sure I have my 2 prongs in the track. And you can tell I'm really going slow here. Being very careful not to slip and ruin this. Okay, the first time you do this, you may want to do this on a piece of scratch paper. And you know what makes great scratch paper? Those, well, here's one. These sheets that come inside a paper pack. Use that as scratch paper if you need to. Now, I haven't moved anything. I'm going to use my multi-tool here and just kind of see if I've done a good job. Oh, look, it's still attached right there. So this is the best way to do that. So now I'm going to come over here again. I'm much faster with ovals and circles, I will tell you. But I'm being very careful with this one. It is stubborn, or I'm not doing a good job enough here. There we go. I think I got it. So I'm just going to carefully, there we go. That looks good now. Okay. So now I'm going to move this. Now, how did we get this to go all the way across? Because instead of making just a square, what I'm going to do is I can see, and you'll be able to see the wave here that you've got going on, and I can see it a little bit easier than you can. So I'm going to move this pattern over, and you can do this very easily. And I'm going to just kind of eyeball this and make sure that the wave of my cut, and it stops right about here, is going with the pattern, and then it's centered top to bottom. If I can eyeball that and it looks good to me, I think it's going to be just fine. And then I've got the micro tip scissors to help me out if I need it. So I'm going to just start where I left off, make sure those two prongs are in there. And I'm just going to go off the page. Okay, and I'm not moving it. I'm coming down here. I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, let me double check. Yes. All right, so I can move this now and check it out. Oh, there's one little hair attached there, it looks like. Just cut that. So there is it was pretty easy. It took me just a minute. That was real time. I didn't speed it up, but it's pretty easy to do that and make it go off the page. And again, if you want your papers to match, then you might want to use 2 pieces of cardstock or mix our papers up, but you're going to need this for one of their designs. So I suggest 2 pieces of cardstock. But this is something that you can do with any other collection too. So just a very neat technique if you like a big, nice frame around your 2-page spread. So we're going to set this aside because we are going to need that paper. And so now let me do the other side over here. Same idea, centering this, just as I did the other one. And now I probably am going to speed this up because you don't want to have to watch this again. Okay, success. Now I have my 2 frames. And here's what I'm going to try. This is optional, totally optional. Yours is going to look great if you don't have this cardstock on hand. But I wanted a little extra right here behind it. And so that's what I'm going to use this Autumn Hay Shimmer for. So let me move these out of the way. And I'm just going to try this with the Autumn Hay Shimmer. And this paper is thick. And I only chose this one because it was a coordinating cardstock with the Golden Harvest. So to make it a little bit wider, I'm going to now use the green blade instead of the red. And the difference between these is the red blade has a really close, the prongs and the blade are really close, and you get another 1/8 inch distance away with the green one. So that's going to give me a little bit bigger of a pattern. So let's try this. So if you are going to use this cardstock to make an extra layer, be careful to center it because now you have more space between the cut and the template. So you have to be really careful to center it and make sure it's perfect, or as close to perfect as we can get. Did you see me slip there? It's going to be okay. There's no scrapbooking error that we can't fix. So now I've got our 2 background pages, and let me just layer these to see what this is going to look like and if doing this autumn shimmer was worth it. I'm going to put the dark brown with the lighter orange, and I'm going to put the light brown with this darker green. I think I do like that, and I say that because I've seen it both ways, and so let me show you both ways. I'll remove the autumn hay, It's still going to look good, but this is just an option for you if you have some of this cardstock. Or it doesn't have to be autumn hay. It could be any kind of cream color like this. That looks good too. So either one is fine. I'm going to go, for the purpose of this, I'm going to put the autumn hay in here. And again, it can be a cream cardstock, anything. It does not have to be shimmer. Okay, now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach my dark brown onto the autumn hay, if you're doing the autumn hay. And so learn from my mistakes here earlier when I was doing my first edition of this. I'm going to put the tape runner down first. And then that will allow me to line this up here so it doesn't get too sticky. So my main goal with this though is to make sure that I've got a nice 1/8 inch pattern going all around. That's the main goal here. All right, if you are doing that second layer. Now, as you can see, I've got a little bit of autumn hay sticking out over here and here. And you know what? That's probably because my hand slipped. So what I'm going to do here is use my trimmer, because I know this brown is going to be 12 by 12. I've just got this off center a little bit. And so I'm going to trim up the excess autumn hay. All right, and now I'm going to attach this to the orange paper. So again, I'm going to put down a little tape runner, repositionable. I highly recommend for this in case we make a mistake. And then I'm going to center it down here at the bottom and then let those two fall into place and smooth it out. So we've got one side done. Now let's do our other side. I'll move this out of the way. And again, we're going to attach the brown onto this right here. Because our main goal is to make sure we have a nice 1/8 inch even pattern there. And I may have to trim some again just because that's due to me maybe slipping a little bit. It happens. All right, now we're going to attach it to this page. Again with a tape runner on 3 sides. Really careless with that tape runner. Okay, and now I'm going to center it, line it up, not center it, line it up on these edges, and then let the pieces fall into place. So here are our leftover pieces that we cut off. And so we're going to be able to use these for photo mats. The best thing we can do is just trim off the wavy edge here, just to give us rectangular pieces of paper to work with. Okay, and we've got nice big pieces of paper here. So what we've created is a wonderful 2-page canvas here, and now you can do whatever you want to do with your pictures. But here's what I'm going to do with mine. And we've got these for photo mats. So I've got the dark brown and then the light orange there. And then I've got these gorgeous leaves, which I really want to use, and this lighter brown here. So let's see how this works. All right, I want to include all these pictures on these pages. I know it seems crazy right now, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, since we're using the custom cutting system, let's make an oval out of this one. And let's make an inside circle out of this one. And then we're going to use one of my favorite little products, the Peekaboo Pockets. Have you seen these? They come in several sizes. I'm going to be using 4 by 6. And what I'm going to do is put this picture of the house we stayed in a Peekaboo Pocket. We're going to be able to flip it up, see something else here, maybe some journaling, and then have a picture of us, our selfie in front of the house. Okay, so that'll work. And the reason I chose that order is because this picture, I have a full 4 by 6. This one was a weird size. I don't know what, it was like a 4 by 7 for some reason. And so I had to trim the top off to get everything in the picture. So let's use this custom cutting system. I'm using the second to smallest oval. It would fit the next to largest as well, but I want a smaller oval so that we'll have more room on the page. And I'm going to use the red blade, which is the smallest. Look how easy this is. It's a piece of cake compared to those waves. Now, I'm not moving my hand. I just picked it up, and I see I've already done a good job because the outside moved. But before you lift this hand, you always want to make sure you cut that completely. Now, while we're at it, I would like to make a background for this. So I'm going to use this orange paper right here. And I like an 1/8 inch border. And so we're going to go with the green blade to give me just an 1/8 inch larger here. And now we have a pretty matted photo. You don't have to mat, but I always like to mat when I do circles or ovals for some reason. It just looks so good. Now let's do the other one that we're going to cut into a shape. And it's this selfie that I'm going to cut into a circle. We're using the inside of the largest circle of the templates. And I'm going to use the blue blade. The blue blade has the biggest distance between the blade and the prongs. And when we're using the inside, that's going to give us the smallest circle possible with that one. So notice I'm going a little bit off the edge, and you can see the bottom of the photo there. Because there's such a distance between this blade and these prongs, it's going to be okay. And if you ever have any doubt, pull out your good old sizing template. Here's what it's going to look like. I'm basically centering up the blue circle here. It's the smallest one. That's all I need. I'm not sure what color I'm going to mat that circle in yet, so I'm going to set it aside. The extra piece we cut off is barely 8 by 10, so I can't really cut it where I can do with 8 inches. I can't really make frames for my 4 by 6 photos unless I was willing to trim these photos, and I'm really not. I've got plenty of paper. So I'm going to go over here and trim it at 4.5 inches, and the same thing right here. And then I'm going to trim these at, did I say 4.5? I meant 4.25. I'm sorry. 6.25. 6.25 inches. Now you could do 4.5 and 6.5 if you like a larger frame around your mat. And it would not be bad to have a bigger margin around to see these beautiful leaves on this paper. If you wanted, you could tuck this up under here and give yourself a little wave on the top of that picture. It's kind of neat. I'm going to just keep it down to be consistent. And with my oval, I am going to overlap this picture a bit because it's just grass and a grill there, which I don't really care about. So we're going to do like this. And now I'm going to attach the picture that goes under the Peekaboo pocket, and then I'll show you how to do that Peekaboo pocket at the end. I'm going to put it all the way to the top there because you want your other photo to cover it completely. Okay, so since this is all the paper I've got left yet, I guess I know what I'm going to use for my circle, and we're going to need to use the dark brown. So let me make that circle. Since I cut the circle with the blue blade for the photo, I'm going to go 1/8 inch larger here, and we're going to do the green blade. And that really did help me get a lot more pictures on the page. So now let's attach some of these beautiful embellishments. And this Golden Harvest has some of our favorite embellishments ever made. So I'm just going to use a piece of parchment paper, or a silicone mat is fine. Since these are so intricate and I can't put regular tape runner, I'm going to need to put Repositionable. And then I'm going to add these 2 leaves. Let's say we pop these up foam squares. I love these. So this will give us a little bit of height on these leaves, a little bit of dimension and shadow. And we'll attach our other embellishments as well. Now these, I won't use foam squares on these. There's really nowhere to put them. Okay, let's use the Peekaboo pocket now. If you've not seen these, they are photo safe, clear pockets here where a photo will slide in or two. And then on the back side, you've got this lift off, and there's adhesive underneath. And the great thing is that if you put it in the wrong place on the page protector, you can move it around. So the front part is going to be the open part. I'm going to put one picture in there, but first, let me wipe that off. Usually I have matte photos, but I'm doing glossy this time because I was in a hurry. I needed to get them quickly. All right, and now I have cut from the paper we had left over a 4 by 6 piece of paper that I'm going to put on the other side, and I'm going to take a moment and journal that. Hey, want to see a quick trick for creating journaling lines on one of these boxes? Let's use our perforating blade. I'm going to switch it out with my straight blade, and I'm going to make lines on it. The perforating blade just makes these dotted indentions that you could tear apart later, but I'm just going to use them for lines. So I'm going to line it up at every 1/2 inch. And there's a line. I'm going to do it a little bit lightly so that I'm careful not to tear it. So check it out. You can see those perforated lines there, and it's got a little bit of a texture. But now I can easily write straight, and my lines are going to be all even. Okay, I've finished my journaling, and so now, knowing that I'm going to flip it up like this, the journaling needs to be able to be read, so I'm going to put it in upside down, of course. You would have figured that part out. Now, you don't want to attach it directly to your page because you're going to have either a page protector or a pocket page on top of it, and then you won't be able to lift the Peekaboo Pocket. I typically use traditional scrapbook pages, but for right now, I'm just going to slip this into a pocket page that I've got on hand. Okay, you can tell from the light glare that this one is in a pocket page now. This would be exactly the same if you put this on a scrapbook page and used a page protector because it's basically the same material. So I'm going to pull off the adhesive off the back of this, and then I'm going to attach it directly to the pocket page. And then if you smooth this out, you're really not going to notice it's there. All done.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out next month's edition where we create some Christmas cheer.